Lego, the iconic Danish toy company, was founded all the way back in 1932 by Ole Kirk Christensen, and what started as a small wooden toy workshop has grown into a global empire worth billions, built one brick at a time. Slowly evolving over the years up until 1999, when Lego took its biggest leap yet, teaming up with one of the most beloved franchises in pop culture, Star Wars. And just like that, a new era was born. LEGO Star Wars didn't just succeed, it redefined what LEGO could be. For years, fans of all ages collected, built, and shared the joy of LEGO Star Wars. It was more than just toys, it was childhood, memories, as well as creative passion, all coming together for the love of a galaxy far, far away. And while LEGO is definitely not a stranger when it comes to controversies, from overpriced exclusives, region-locked promos, and weird collaborations, nothing compares to what's happening right now. The August 2025 LEGO Star Wars wave has fans furious. Sets are overpriced, quality is questionable, and for many long-term collectors, it feels like LEGO has finally lost its touch. People are angry and they're not scared to voice their opinions, and now for the first time in years, fans are actually talking about boycotting LEGO Star Wars altogether, and others are walking away from the hobby entirely. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down how we got here, what's wrong with LEGO's latest releases, and if this might be the beginning of the end for LEGO Star Wars. When LEGO originally launched in 1999, it wasn't just a product line, it was a gamble. LEGO had never licensed a third-party IP before, but the timing was perfect. The Phantom Menace was just about to hit theaters, the Star Wars hype was peaking, and LEGO really needed a win. The first sets were simple, blocky, even by the late 90s standards, but fans didn't care. For the first time, you could build your favorite Star Wars ships, scenes, and characters from scratch, and the minifigures were instantly iconic. Favorite characters brought to life through LEGO and the minifigures, and it was an instant hit. By the early 2000s, LEGO was officially a household name, and LEGO Star Wars was one of the biggest of the sub-themes. It blended two powerful fandoms into one, Star Wars fans who wanted to build, and LEGO fans who loved Star Wars. And it only kept growing as time went on. Over the following years, LEGO released more and more sets as well as more fan-favorite characters as minifigures, growing the LEGO Star Wars name to the biggest that it has ever been. And cutting to 2008 to 2014, what has been deemed as the Clone Wars era as well as the golden age for many fans. Battle packs, gunships, ATTEs, LEGO was churning out sets left and right that were fun, affordable, and absolutely packed with value. From fun playsets to nice displayable collector sets, LEGO had it all. And LEGO Star Wars wasn't just surviving, it was evolving and it was thriving. It became a huge part of LEGO video games, massive YouTube channels, animation products, and it became a culture of its own. But then, things started to change. Set prices crept higher as quality went down, minifigures became locked behind massive overpriced sets, fan-favorite themes like the Clone Wars were shelved in favor for other content, as well as other sets just not hitting the same nostalgic notes that they used to. And now in 2025, LEGO Star Wars feels like it's a shadow of what it once was. Nostalgia is no longer enough, and fans want value that LEGO is not delivering. So let's take a look at this August 1st wave and break down the sets. Now, the biggest culprit of all of this has to be set 75413 The Republic Juggernaut, coming in at 813 pieces and a resale of $159.99 in the US. Which, after crunching some numbers, comes out to around 20 cents per piece in that set. And I understand that price per piece isn't the best way to measure the value of a set, especially when it comes to a set like this with two new molds for the helmets of the Clone Troopers. However, if we go all the way back to 2005, that same turbo tank had 813 pieces, and not to mention the other two turbo tanks that we have gotten previously, which had significantly bigger models, more minifigures, as well as more complex designs. But looking over that fact that this should be a $140 playset and has been bumped up to $160, there are even more issues when it comes to this set itself. The first of all is how flimsy and unreliable it is. This set can't even be held by the main frame of the vehicle, which is definitely a big issue when it comes to a playset. A set should be structurally sound, should be able to be picked up and played with, and it can't be falling apart like this. As well as the fact that the minifigures are lacking their cloth waistcaves as something that we have seen included many times in the past for LEGO Star Wars, but something that's been done away with, and it's definitely felt through the quality of the sets. And I think at the end of the day, $160 for this turbo tank is absurd. And while you may be getting two brand new minifigures never seen before with the Galactic Marines as well as the Commander Bakara, and then both having new molds for their helmets definitely doesn't justify the insanely high price for this set. But we haven't even gotten to the most overpriced set of 2025. Because that goes to set 75431, the 327th Star Corps Clone Trooper Battle Pack, with 258 pieces, 4 Clone Troopers, 3 droids, and a price tag of $45 in the US. And with a $45 price tag, I don't know how LEGO is justifying calling this a battle pack. Just a few years ago, you could go to the store and pick up a battle pack for around $13. However, now in 2025, it's going to set you back $45. And yes, this isn't your traditional battle pack with 4 minifigures for $20, and now in 2025, those traditional battle packs costing around $23, but instead we are getting your 4 clone troopers in your small build, as well as 3 droids in another small build that equates to $45 total. Now, I do not understand where this extra money is being taxed on to this set. I think the best way to break this down is to first off take a look at this set in 2 different parts. The first part being the 4 327th Clone Troopers as well as the AT-RT build. Now, assuming that this was released on its own as a battle pack, the retail in 2025 would be $23, which would definitely be understandable and, to be honest, would have made an amazing battle pack. However, we're not accounting for the other half of this, which would be 3 super battle droids as well as the small build for the spider droid, which would somehow have to make up another $20. And LEGO has said it themselves that droids shouldn't or don't count as minifigures, not even counting them in their own sets as such. And I don't know in what world that 3 super battle droids and a small build of a dwarf spider droid would cost anywhere near $20. Should only add an additional $8 to the set, which would put this at a $30 price tag, which would put it at the same price as the other super battle packs that we have seen in the past, with the 501st battle pack as well as the most recent Clones vs. Droids battle pack. So we have to ask ourselves, what is with the $15 price increase on this battle pack specifically? And there are 2 main reasons when it comes to this, the first of which being that each clone trooper here includes a new pauldron mold, which by no doubt was a very expensive thing for LEGO to make. However, it definitely should not be bringing this set up as much as it is when it comes to terms of the price. It realistically is not going to change their profit margins on this set too much, especially when compared to what they are actually making for each copy sold. And the second thing to talk about is with the whole tariff situation that was happening earlier on, which would mean that LEGO would have to spend more money to import their sets from their factories into the US. And I certainly cannot see anyone going out of their way to pick this set up for $45, especially when it will be sitting onto the shelves right next to another clone battle pack that's only going to be costing $30. And this is absurd for LEGO Star Wars and is definitely one of the most overpriced LEGO sets of all time. And while I think the 2 worst sets off for the August wave have to be the Turbo Tank as well as the Battle Pack, I don't think that any of the other sets get an excuse either. I won't go in details because I don't want this to be a 20-minute long video, but they are definitely still overpriced and for the quality that you get as well are not worth the money for the most part. And looping back to the Turbo Tank, which has a price tag of $160 for 813 pieces, we can compare it to a couple of other sets, the first of which being the brick-built Monsaurus Boat Mission, which has 858 pieces and a retail of only $60, the second of which being the King Boo's Haunted Mansion, with a retail of $75 and also having 932 pieces, and then the last one that I want to look at is the Lunar New Year Traditions, which retailed for $80, went on sale for $64, and had 1,066 pieces. So comparing all of these sets to the Turbo Tank definitely does make it seem like a crazy outlier, even accounting for the fact that LEGO has to pay the licensing fee, the new molds, as well as all of the different imports and other things like that. Definitely does not equate to this set being worth $160 and does not justify LEGO charging that price. But I want to move on to the talks about boycotting LEGO. Now, this is something that has definitely been brought up many times in the past, however, nothing has come of it before. But now in 2025, it seems like more people are on board and some people are actually already taking action, leaving the hobby entirely. And to be honest, I do think that it is a great idea not to buy these LEGO Star Wars sets, especially at full price. I think if you do want to get them, wait for them to go on clearance, especially with the previous sets, we've seen them go on sale for around 40 to 50% off at different retailers like Walmart and Target, as well as Amazon. And getting these deals and waiting for them to go on clearance will definitely still get the message across to LEGO that no one is going to buy their sets at these absurdly high prices, and they will eventually take them down. Now, I don't think that people are ever going to in full boycott LEGO and stop buying their product altogether. There are always going to be people out there, fans that will buy these sets no matter what. And this is definitely a bit hypocritical of me to be talking about, as I am one of those people that will go out to buy these sets in order to make a review of on this channel. However, my one set purchase being definitely a very small drop in the bucket, especially if I am going to be making a review where I am most likely going to be telling people to wait and save their money for it to go on sale, but it does raise the question. But at the end of the day, I do think that these prices are absurd, and I think that something has to be done about it. And while I think LEGO has definitely already seen the massive amounts of backlash surrounding their August wave and have already started to take a couple of actions toward it, I do think that in the next waves we will see the prices lower for LEGO Star Wars. However, it is inevitable that it will reach this point again at some point in the future, and I don't know what we're going to do when it happens again. But we will have to stay vigilant and make sure that we can stay on top of it and hold LEGO accountable so they cannot price us out. But that is going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about the current prices for LEGO Star Wars, and thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew signing out.